97.5% of the water on Earth is seawater. Of the remaining 2.5%, 1.7% is ice. Only 1% of all water is available to support human life. Human beings cannot live without water. Water is the foundation of our very lives. Where does the water come from that we drink and use every day? Kumamoto Prefecture is located in the rich natural environment of central Kyushu in southwestern Japan. The center of the prefecture is Kumamoto City, where 100% of the tap water comes from groundwater. A gift from Kumamoto's natural environment is the mineral water we use for daily life. What made this blessing possible? Water, an essential resource for life. How did groundwater city Kumamoto come about? Aso, with one of the largest calderas in the world, is intricately involved. Let's look at the 4 pyroclastic eruptions which created the Aso caldera. This was the surface morphology before the caldera was formed. Here we see the distribution of the foundation layer. This layer was difficult for water to penetrate and so became a repository base for the groundwater. The first pyroclastic eruption occurred about 270,000 years ago. Then another volcanic eruption in Mashiki Town released Togawa lava. As it cooled and solidified, volcanic gases created cracks and openings in the lava. This sponge-like formation of Togawa lava easily retains great quantities of groundwater. About 140,000 years ago, the second large-scale pyroclastic eruption took place. This was followed by a third eruption about 120,000 years ago. After the third eruption, the surface eroded and basins collected water, which became many lakes of various sizes. Mud sank to the bottom of the lakes, becoming a clay bed. This layer of clay divides the aquifer into upper and lower aquifers. Takahiro lava is from an eruption in Nishihara village. This extensive plateau, 9 kilometers east to west, 4 kilometers north to south, and 100 meters thick, determined the course of the current Shirakawa River. "90,000 years ago, there was a fourth great eruption of Mount Aso, resulting in a massive pyroclastic flow. A volcanic plume was blasted tens of thousands of meters into the sky and spread ash as far as Hokkaido. This extremely hot pyroclastic flow containing ash and pumice moved as fast as a Shinkansen bullet train and covered almost the entire island of Kyushu. Deposits have been found on Shimabara Peninsula, Shikoku, and the Chugoku region of Honshu. The layers of sediments from such pyroclastic events were ideal for the storage of groundwater here in Kumamoto. What happened to Aso after the final big eruption? 5 craters erupted and spewed out a tremendous amount of pyroclastic material. This created a vast underground chamber. When this chamber collapsed, it sank some 1,500 meters, becoming the present caldera. Over time, the caldera collected rainfall, which created lakes. These lakes were repeatedly formed, then destroyed by volcanic flows and seismic activity. These hundreds of thousands of years of volcanic activity are the origins of the precious groundwater aquifer we use every day. A fault created an opening in the Soma, which became the head of the Shirakawa River. All the water of the Aso caldera was forced into this one river. The meandering river eroded the upland valleys and eventually formed the Shirakawa River as we know it now. Groundwater flow system and supporting mechanism. How does groundwater along the middle stretch of the Shirakawa River end up as springs far downstream at Lake Ezu? When we look at a cross-section profile enlarged 50 times, we can see a depression. This is the midstream basin of the Shirakawa River. Layers laid down by pyroclastic flows were eroded away by the river. Here, organic-rich volcanic ash called kuroboku was deposited, creating a highly permeable soil and allowing it to rapidly infiltrate deep underground. The water percolated into the ground goes through the porous pyroclastic formation and accumulates over the impermeable bedrock layer. This hydro-geological structure creates to store the huge amount of groundwater. This is called a groundwater pool. When water overflows from the groundwater pool, it moves into the Togawa lava aquifer. Because Togawa lava has abundant pores and cracks, groundwater passes through rapidly. As it is rather easy to withdraw groundwater from this lava, this works as a major groundwater aquifer for the Kumamoto area. This is a schematic profile of the groundwater flow system of Kumamoto and the hydrogeological mechanism that supports it. Hydrological cycle of Kumamoto. High precipitation is another reason for Kumamoto's abundant groundwater resources. A large amount of humid air from the ocean moves into the Kumamoto region. This joins with evaporated moisture from the land, and the warm, wet air rises by the western wind along the high Kyushu mountains. As it cools, it forms clouds. When the cloud particles become too heavy, they fall as rain or snow and return to the surface. The average precipitation of Kumamoto City is 1.2 times the national average, and Aso gets twice the national average. In total, the Kumamoto region receives 2 billion tons of rain each year. 700 million tons evaporate back into the atmosphere. Another 700 million are carried by rivers to the Ariake Sea. The remaining 600 million permeate the earth and become groundwater. How does 600 million tons of precipitation become groundwater? First, there must be a water recharge area where rainwater is percolated into the ground. The wisdom to utilize nature. Kato Kiyomasa, who ruled Kumamoto from the 1580s, played a great part in engineering the groundwater flow with his flood control projects. He changed the fluvial wasteland of the mid-Shirakawa River basin into paddyland by setting up weirs and irrigation channels. In the middle of the Shirakawa River, there is a huge stone called Kabutoiwa, which blocked the flow of the river. Kato made use of this rock to build a weir. Projecting from the riverbank is a stone jetty. This barrier returns the water flow to the center of the river channel. Because the erosive power of the flow is weakened, the riverbanks are not easily damaged. At Toroku Weir, where the river enters Kumamoto City, torrents caused by floods were slowed, and under normal conditions, it was used as an efficient intake for irrigation water. The Hanaguri-ide irrigation canal was designed to prevent volcanic ash and sediment from blocking the water flow. The bedrock was utilized as canal walls with semicircle-shaped tunnels. When passing through the tunnels, the water flow creates eddies, which raise the sediment and the flow carries the sediment away. This specially designed canal eliminated regional water-related problems, increased agricultural productions, and enriched the lives of the people of this area. As land was reclaimed and paddies developed in the upstream area, spring water downstream increased and a lake was formed. In these ways, the groundwater system of Kumamoto has been developed through activities based on the wisdom of our ancestors and has been maintained to this day. Now, however, the groundwater budget is beginning to lose its balance. Levels of groundwater and the amount of water flowing from the springs of Lake Ezu have been decreasing in recent decades. A possible cause for this depletion is the loss of important recharge areas as paddies and farms are abandoned due to urbanization and national rice production policies. Because of urbanization, non-recharge areas have more than doubled in the past 40 years. Grassland in the Aso region, an important groundwater recharge area that has been maintained for generations, has decreased significantly. Because of the decline in both population and stock farming, grassland is now half what it was 100 years ago. Green and water environment protection and preservation projects are already underway. The Foundation for the Preservation of Green and Water Resources of Higo preserves and restores agricultural land in the Aso region. Farmland abandoned for 25 years was brought back into productive terraced rice paddies. We are also planting broadleaf trees in the Aso Taikan forest. Furthermore, we support the maintenance, revitalization, and protection of the grasslands to be passed on to our descendants. The springs and streams, forests, and grasslands of Kumamoto have been protected and preserved with the concerned cooperation of the people who live here. We invite you to come to Kumamoto, the only metropolitan area in Japan in which more than 1 million people are fully supplied with groundwater for daily life. Join us on a journey of crystal clear waters and healing natural vistas.